And we are back again to another episode of Medical for Dummies. Medical stuff, easily explained. And remember, hit the like button if you want to become smarter than your general practitioner. And most importantly, this is no medical advice. Always check with a doctor or call the emergency services when you're in urgent medical need. In this episode, we are going to talk about a rare condition called foreign accent syndrome. So what is foreign accent syndrome? The foreign accent syndrome, or FAS, is a disease of the nervous system that is very rare and very interesting. People interested in languages, science, and the general public all want to know more about it. It is a disease that makes a person's speech change quickly and without their control, making it seem like they have picked up a different accent from somewhere else in the world. Even though FAS is not very common, it has gotten a lot of attention, both because it is interesting and because it may have a big effect on the lives of people who have it. By looking into the background, causes, diagnosis, and treatment of foreign accent syndrome, FAS, this piece shows how neuroscience, language, and human identity are all connected in a complex way. How was FAS discovered? French doctor Pierre Marie was the first person to write about what is now known as foreign accent syndrome. This happened in the early 1900s. In this case, a woman from Paris started speaking with an accent like someone from Alsace, France, after she had a stroke. That being said, it wasn't until the middle of the 20th century that more cases were found and it was recognized as a different condition. A neuropsychologist named Harry Whitaker and his colleagues wrote about a woman from the United States who started speaking with a British accent after getting a brain injury in 1982. They came up with the term, foreign accent syndrome, to describe this problem while they were working on it. Since then, stories of the disease have come in from many places around the world and have been written in many languages. What causes someone to get a foreign accent? A lot of the time, FAS is linked to nerve conditions or accidents that affect the parts of the brain that control language and speech. Here are a few of the main reasons why. Stroke. A stroke is one of the most common reasons people get FAS. It's more likely to happen in parts of the brain that are important for speech and movement control. If these areas get hurt, it's possible for speech and pronunciation to change, which can make it seem like someone talks with an accent from another country. Traumatic brain injury. FAS can also be caused by blows to the head, like those you might get in a car accident or when you fall down the stairs. Brain pathways that are involved in speech creation could become damaged, which could change the way a person speaks. Neurological conditions. Multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease are two neurological conditions that can cause FAS because they make it hard for the brain to control speech and language. Brain lesions and tumors. People with FAS may have problems with speaking if they have brain lesions or tumors in certain parts of the brain. Conditions affecting the mind. Very rarely, FAS has been linked to conditions affecting the mind, like conversion disorder. This shows how difficult the connection is between a person's mental health and their ability to speak. Diagnosing foreign accent syndrome. The main sign of the disease is changes in speech patterns that make it sound like someone has a foreign accent. But it is very important to tell the difference between FAS and real language learning. True language acquisition means that the student is actively involved in learning and changing to a new language. FAS, on the other hand, is an automatic process that is often followed by other brain signs. To prove FAS, a full evaluation must be done by a group of professionals from different fields, such as neurologists, speech-language therapists, and psychologists. Most of the time, the review will include review of the patient's medical history. The patient's medical history is carefully looked over to find any brain illnesses, accidents, or events that might have caused the syndrome. Speech analysis. Speech-language pathologists look at a person's speech patterns and grammar to see if they are different from their original accent to any degree. Imaging techniques of the brain, like MRI and CT scans, are used to find any anatomical problems or tumors in the brain that might be the cause of FAS. Brain and mental tests help find other brain or speaking problems that might be present. Once a diagnosis has been made, it is very important to clear out other possible causes of speech problems, like aphasia or dysarthria, which may look like FAS but are actually different conditions with different causes. The different kinds of foreign accent syndrome. There is no one normal way to talk about FAS. Instead, it shows up in different accents or speech patterns depending on the specifics of each case. Most people with FAS have one of the following types. Pseudo-foreign accent syndrome. Someone with this type of FAS might not sound like they are from a certain foreign country, but they might change the way they talk in ways that people think are foreign. This might happen when the person changes their pronunciation, beat, or accent. Foreign accent syndrome that sounds real. Some people with FAS have speech patterns that sound a lot like a certain foreign accent. This makes the person's speech sound more real to people who hear it. Multilingual FAS. People with FAS may sometimes seem to be skilled in more than one language, even if they didn't know much about those languages before they got the disease. All of these different types of FAS show how complicated the disease is and how complicated it is for the brain to make words. How it changes people's minds and social lives. People who have foreign accent syndrome may have serious problems with their mental and social health because of it. The sudden change in speech style could make people feel alone, unhappy, and like they are having an identity crisis. The following are some examples of common effects on the mind. Identity crisis. People with FAS may feel very disconnected from their own identity because their speech no longer matches how they see themselves. Separation from others. Other people may find it hard to understand or accept the changes that come with the new speech patterns, which can make them feel separated from others. It is common for people with this condition to be laughed at or treated badly because of the way their accents sound. This could make people feel bad about themselves and cause them to be anxious. Communication problems. Because they have changed the way they talk, people may find it hard to speak clearly, which can make them feel even more alone. With the help of doctors, speech therapy, and guidance, it's much easier to help people with FAS deal with the mental and social problems that come with having the condition. Treatment and rehabilitation. Taking care of foreign voice sickness is a process that takes time and effort. At this point, there is no known treatment for FAS that can erase its effects. However, there are a number of treatments that can help people improve their speech and get used to speaking in a different way. Treatment for speech. Speech-language pathologists help people with FAS get back control of their speech habits through treatment for speech. As part of the therapy, exercises may be used to improve pronunciation, intonation, and pace. Psychosocial support. Counseling and counseling may help people deal with the emotional and mental effects of FAS, like having trouble figuring out who they are and feeling alone in social situations. Neurorehabilitation. Neurorehabilitation classes may help fix nerve problems that are caused by neurological illnesses or accidents. Different ways to get rid of an accent. Some people may choose to get treatment for accent reduction so that they can gradually change the way they speak and get back an accent that sounds more like their original one. It's important to remember that treatment works differently for everyone, and even after therapy, some people may still speak in ways that aren't natural to them. Things to think about from an ethical and sociolinguistic point of view. There are a lot of important language and moral issues that need to be thought about when it comes to foreign accent syndrome. These are them. People who do not have FAS should be treated with cultural awareness and care, and it is important to remember that the changes in their speech are not something they choose to do. Authenticity. FAS questions the common ideas of what it means to be true and who you are in language and society. It forces us to think again about the things that make up a person's true speech and language identity. Language study. FAS draws attention to the amazing variety of human language and the brain's ability to adapt and change in response to neural processes. There is an interesting neurological disease called Foreign Accent Syndrome that shows how the brain, the process of speech production, and a person's sense of self are all deeply connected. It is important to show understanding and sympathy toward people who have FAS, even though the condition is still being studied and interests people. The story of their travels shows how complicated language is and how strong people can be when they face problems they didn't expect. As our understanding of FAS grows, it gives us a great chance to learn more about the wonders of the human brain and its amazing capacity to change and adapt. And that was it already for this episode about Foreign Accent Syndrome. We are making you smarter with every episode. Hit the like button and follow us so you don't miss the next episode. Until next time.